It's time once again for the most gloriously unhinged, brain-meltingly fun comic that's out there right now. RoboWolf #2 from Dark Horse Comics. The series that's so stupid, it loops back around into being genius. So if you haven't seen my video on issue #1, here's the quick and dirty recap of this beautiful mess. Our hero is a cybernetic wolfman named Wolf. Not very original, but he leads a small crew of bank robbers, Zuki, Lance, and VCR, on a mad dash across a chaotic city. They just stole millions to pay a ransom for Wolf's kidnapped daughter from a villain named General Masakov. It's a plot of a straight-to-VHS action movie from 1989, and I am living for it. In issue 2, it starts with a dude who has chainsaws for hands. So yeah, let's get into it. Issue kicks off with the gang being ambushed by said man with chainsaws for hands. This is Nick, Wolf's former best friend, now turned mortal enemy. Outside of his chainsaw for hands, he's got emotional trauma for days, and the kind of dialogue that feels like it was written by a 12-year-old hyped on caffeine. Nick blames Wolf for ruining their friendship, and that's when the comic hard cuts to a flashback showing us how Nick got his chainsaws and how Wolf became a cyborg. So what follows is a sequence so perfectly ripped from Predator that I'm surprised Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't have a cameo. We get the iconic handshake, we get the two of them leaping from a helicopter into a jungle, and we get dialogue that's just chef's kiss. Wolf, we are indeed best friends, and I don't think they'll ever change. Maybe. Nick, affirmative, muchacho. I mean, come on. You can't write this. Or you can, and it's brilliant. It's so absurdly macho, it circles back to wholesome. So their mission is to liberate a village from terrorists who are so comically evil, it's beautiful. These guys basically make Cobra Commander from the G.I. Joe cartoon look subtle. We literally have a moment where two goons are on a smoke break, and one asks the other what his favorite part of kidnapping is, and the other, who's holding a flamethrower, mind you, replies with, "Of course I love torching the children the most." So yeah. No subtlety, no nuance, just pure distilled Saturday morning cartoon villainy, and I love it. And that's when Nick appears, and he's not just holding a chainsaw. Oh no, that would be too simple. My man is holding a chainsaw gun. It's exactly what it sounds like, a chainsaw with a gun attached to the grip. And he proceeds to saw one terrorist in half while simultaneously snapping the other's neck. And the victims narrate their own demise. They say, "Sweet Lord, he's sawing me in half," and he's snapping my neck. The rest of the terrorists hear that and shout, "I hear the sound of sawing someone in half and the snapping of a neck, the most unspeakable ways to die." Yeah, I'm not kidding, that's an actual line. I cannot stress enough, this comic knows what it is, and it leans into it so hard it becomes performance art. So Wolf and Nick then unleash a hailstorm of bullets so gratuitously violent, it would make the boys blush. We're talking eyes, limbs, jaws, and yes, in a panel of pure autistic commitment, one guy gets his penis shot clean off. It's absurd, it's disgusting, it's perfect. And after saving the villagers, Nick casually mentions he wishes his arms were chainsaws. Wolf, being a supportive friend, says that would be a sight to behold. Obviously, foreshadowing here, and a line that Wolf is going to come to regrets. Then they start untying the villagers when their commander, General Masakov, radios in. And if you remember from issue 1, Masakov's the guy who kidnapped Wolf's daughter, but in the flashback, he's still their superior. So he calls, and for no discernible reason, he orders Nick to execute the villagers. Why? Who knows? Mission parameters changed, I guess. So when Nick moves to carry out the order, Wolf does the only logical thing. He picks up a flamethrower and sets his best friend on fire. And Nick's response? Best friends don't burn best friends without consent. Yeah, I had to pause reading for a moment because I was just laughing too hard at that. So then Nick shoots Wolf in the chest and saws his arm off, and Wolf dies. And just when you think the story can't get any weirder, a crazy Australian man appears, as they do. This dude is basically Crocodile Dundee if Crocodile Dundee was selling corpses for cash. He looks at Nick and he says, "I know a scientist who will pay top dollar for a fresh wolf bloat corpse." And Nick agrees and later uses the money to get those chainsaw arms he always wanted. And then he later complains about the practicalities of having chainsaw for hands. Do you know how freaking hard it is to do daily tasks with chainsaws for hands? The amount of milk I've spilled. Yeah, probably should have thought about that a lot sooner. So meanwhile, the Australian sells Wolf's body to a mad scientist who brings him back as a cyborg. And Nick is jealous that Wolf got to keep his normal hands. He even says, "You got an exoskeleton and normal hands that can access ATM machines and play piano." And that's it. That's the origin story. Yeah, Chainsaw Man versus RoboWolf, born from one flaming friendship breakup. It's so freaking dumb, and I absolutely love it. So back in the present, the fight continues, and Jake Smith's art is the star of the show. It's chaotic, it's fluid, and it just captures that slapstick gore perfectly. You got cars being chainsawed in half. We have a moment where VCR has a Gatling gun popping out of his backpack. It's just so over the top, you can practically hear electric guitar riffs behind every page. Eventually, the fight boils down to just Wolf and Nick again. So we got our two best bros turned bitter rivals tearing each other apart in a scrapyard of absurdity. Zuki has the idea of hacking into Nick's cybernetic brain, so she orders VCR to get right on that. But just as VCR tries that, a third faction appears. These are the Fleshheads. These guys basically look like if Swamp Thing and the Toxic Avenger had a baby that was raised in a vat of radioactive sludge. And the leader of the Fleshheads starts this long, grandiose monologue. "My knights and I will rip out the mechanical guts of that motor carriage and gulp down its nutrient-rich oil. Then we will gorge on your pink bodies and save your hearts to feed our fleshy children, as is our way. Long have our children starved, forgotten in this junkyard we have worked so hard to fortify. Long ago we..." And Zuki just interrupts him by throwing her sai into two of their heads and yelling, "We don't have time for another backstory." So yeah, it's a meta moment that had me laughing out loud. The comic is literally making fun of its own tendency for long-winded explanations. Like I said before, this series is self-aware in the best possible way. And I'm going to stop there because you really need to experience the rest for yourself. I don't want to spoil everything. This series deserves your read. Trust me on this. This issue is just pure fun. It's a non-stop adrenaline-pumped carnival ride of absurdity. The dialogue is purposefully, brilliantly ridiculous. The action is creatively over the top. The violence is slapstick levels of absurd. The whole thing is basically a love letter to the most extreme parts of 80s action movies and 90s edgy cartoons. It's parody, but it's also perfectly executed action storytelling. My only complaints about this series is the wait time. Issue number 1 dropped in May. Issue number 2 didn't come out until late October. So that's 5 months. 5 months between issues is a long time. But then again, Jake Smith is doing the writing, he's doing the art, and he's doing the coloring all by himself. So yeah, it's slow, but it's quality. And when the final product is this meticulously crafted, this perfectly insane, I'd wait a whole year if I had to. It's easily becoming my favorite comic of the year. So yeah, that's RoboWolf number 2. It's insane, it's gory, it's brilliant, and if you haven't picked the series up yet, you should really fix that. Because I promise you, this is the most fun you can have reading about a cyborg wolf man and a guy with chainsaw hands screaming about friendship. But yeah, what do you guys think? Does this brand of controlled chaos appeal to you? And what's the most ridiculous comic you've ever read? Let me know down in the comments below. But I hope you enjoyed the video and hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.